Have you ever noticed something interesting? Sometimes, a woman buys something she doesn't really need. Another dress, another skincare product, another pair of shoes. Even though her closet is already full. She opens the package, looks at it for a moment, maybe smiles a little. But after a while, the excitement quietly fades. And then life continues as usual. A few days later, maybe another package arrives. From the outside, people often say simple things like, she shops too much, or she's just impulsive. But if you look closer, the story is usually much more complicated than that. Because many women who buy things they don't really need are not actually chasing the object itself. They are chasing something else. Something invisible. Something emotional. Something that is much harder to explain. And sometimes, even they don't fully realize what it is. Most of the time, this kind of shopping doesn't start with a plan. It starts with a feeling, a quiet feeling that appears in the middle of an ordinary day. Maybe the day has been stressful. Maybe work feels exhausting. Maybe relationships feel complicated. Or maybe there's just a strange emptiness. Not a dramatic sadness. Just a small sense that something inside feels a little heavy, a little tired, a little disconnected. So she scrolls through her phone. Clothes, shoes, beauty products, little things that promise a tiny spark of excitement. And suddenly something catches her attention. This one is cute. I deserve something nice today. It's not that expensive. And in that moment, buying something feels like a small emotional relief. Not because the item is necessary, but because the moment feels comforting. For a few minutes, her mind feels lighter. And that small feeling of relief can be surprisingly powerful. The interesting thing is, most of the time, the purchase is not really about the item. It's about the emotion behind it. Sometimes buying something gives a quick emotional boost, a tiny moment of happiness, a brief feeling of control, a small reminder that life can still feel nice. When the package arrives, there's anticipation. Opening it feels a little exciting, like a small reward. For a moment, everything feels slightly brighter. But that feeling usually doesn't last very long. Because the real reason behind the purchase was never the object. It was the emotion she was trying to change. And emotions don't disappear just because we bought something. They only pause for a moment. Then slowly, they come back. Not because something is wrong with her, but because emotions are deeper than temporary distractions. This happens in very ordinary situations. After a long, stressful day at work. After an argument with someone she cares about. After scrolling through social media and seeing everyone else's seemingly perfect life. Sometimes it happens when she feels behind in life. Maybe friends are getting married. Maybe someone else seems more successful. Maybe everyone else looks more confident. And suddenly, buying something becomes a way to feel a little more put together. A new outfit that says, I'm doing okay. A new skincare product that says, I'm taking care of myself. A new bag that quietly whispers, I'm moving forward too. None of these purchases are really about the object. They are small emotional messages she is sending to herself. Messages that say, I deserve something good. I'm not falling behind. I'm still becoming someone better. Sometimes the item represents a version of herself she hopes to become. The more organized version. The more confident version. The more successful version. So in a way, she's not just buying a product. She's buying a possibility.
If you think about it carefully, many people have experienced something similar. Maybe you bought a book because you imagined yourself becoming more focused. Maybe you bought exercise clothes because you pictured a healthier version of yourself. Maybe you bought something beautiful because you wanted to feel a little more confident. In those moments, the object becomes a symbol of hope, a symbol of motivation, a symbol of the person you want to be. And sometimes, holding that object feels like holding a small piece of that future. But life is complicated. Days get busy. Energy runs low. The book stays on the shelf. The workout clothes stay in the closet. The new item slowly becomes just another thing in the room. And that doesn't mean the intention was fake. It only means that being human is more complex than our plans. Many women who buy things they don't really need are not careless. They are simply trying to navigate their emotions in the ways that feel available in the moment. So, is this habit good or is it bad? The truth is, it's not always one or the other. Buying something you don't truly need is not automatically a problem. Sometimes it can be a small act of kindness toward yourself, a small celebration after a difficult week, a small reward for working hard, a small moment of joy. In those situations, shopping can simply be part of enjoying life. But the pattern becomes more complicated when buying things becomes the only way to deal with uncomfortable emotions. When every stressful day leads to another purchase. When every moment of loneliness turns into another package. When the happiness from buying something only lasts a few minutes and is followed by guilt. That's usually a sign that the purchase was trying to fix something deeper. Not a problem with money, but a conversation with emotions that hasn't happened yet. And sometimes the most helpful step is not stopping the behavior immediately. Sometimes the first step is simply noticing, asking yourself one quiet question. What am I actually feeling right now? Because sometimes the answer is not, I need this item. Sometimes the answer is, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I feel a little lonely today. And recognizing that feeling can be surprisingly powerful. In the end, buying something you don't really need doesn't always mean you're irresponsible. Sometimes it simply means you're human. It means you're trying to create small moments of comfort in a world that can feel overwhelming. But when we slowly become more aware of the emotions behind those moments, something interesting begins to happen. The urge to buy something becomes a signal, a quiet signal that says, something inside me needs attention, maybe rest, maybe connection, maybe reassurance, maybe a reminder that you are already enough without adding anything new. And when we start listening to that signal, we stop seeing the behavior as a mistake. Instead, it becomes a doorway to understanding ourselves a little more honestly. Because sometimes, the things we think we want to buy are actually just reflections of the feelings we want to experience. And the more gently we understand those feelings, the less we need to search for them.
inside another package.